I got to Los Angeles, 4 of us. It was interesting because 4 of us weren't based out of California. So we looked for a rooming house. We were dropped off by the bus. We arrived by plane, and the bus dropped us off at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel. We bought a newspaper. We looked for a rooming house, and we saw a rooming house available in the Hollywood Hills. And we got a cab and went there. We liked the rooming house, regular rooming house. We each had 2 of us had a room upstairs. The other 2 had a room upstairs. And that's where we planted ourselves. And then we started, we were there for about a month or so before the band went out again. And then I started going from band to band. I was with, I went to Vegas with a couple show bands. I worked what was then known as the Last Frontier Hotel, and I worked the El Rancho Hotel, and then I started working with Les Brown. I started working with Charlie Barnett. I was with Nat Cole. And then I joined, Frank Sinatra used to carry 4 musicians, and we'd pick up full bands, and I joined him. And I worked with Mel Torme. I worked with Bobby Darin. And eventually I started working with the LA Philharmonic, and I did that for 6 years. So I was housed out here, but the question comes up, well, how did you get into law? Well, while I was working in the Last Frontier Hotel, I decided to see if I could get the bar review course, the outlines, and study for the California bar. Since I'm out in California, I never know what's going to happen. So I did. I was studying in Las Vegas during the day. We played at night, and I studied during the day. I took the California bar, and then still didn't intend to practice law, and wasn't for a long time. And eventually, my friends, it's a story I've told many times. A lot of people know the story. They say, well, how did you get into law then, if you're as busy as a musician? And I say, drugs. And they say, what, drugs? Yes, all my friends were getting busted for possession. It was musicians, many of them used to carry marijuana or paraphernalia in their saxophone case, their trumpet case, their trombone case, what have you. And musicians were very easy targets because nobody was violent, nobody resisted arrest, nobody carried guns, nobody carried knives. And so when we'd finish working at 2 o'clock in the morning on the Sunset Strip at one of the clubs, the Macambo or at Ciro's or the Crescendo or one of them, the cops would be at the stage door at 2 o'clock, and they say, open up your case, and they open up the case, and there'd be some drugs. And so I started going downtown, leaving record dates and going downtown to have a court date and making motions for illegal search and seizure. And people then, while we're waiting for our court time, they say, well, read this contract, read this record contract, this movie contract, this television contract, what have you. And so gradually, over a period of years, I was trying to do 2 jobs, and it was impossible. And I finally discovered as I was driving home one night, falling asleep at the wheel, that maybe I better make a choice somewhere along the line. So I thought maybe law has the longest future and the best ultimate opportunity. Much to my chagrin, however, recently I found out many of the guys, or I've seen many of the guys I was working with then are still working as musicians. So maybe I should have stuck it out. In any event, no complaints.